Bloody hell, you don't make a video for 2 weeks and the UK government starts playing a giant game of musical chairs. So as I've alluded to with that little bit of an intro, we're back to the UK government again. And yes, I haven't made a video for a couple of weeks, can we ignore that? I'm sorry, not that anyone's particularly bothered. In the last video I made, I spoke about David Cameron offering his resignation, and in that I said that Boris Johnson would most likely be the new Prime Minister. Well, 2 weeks has gone by. I was completely wrong. David Cameron resigned because of the Brexit vote where the UK decided that they didn't want to be in the European Union apparently. And then he said in his initial resignation speech that it wouldn't be until around November that there would be a new Prime Minister. And as I mentioned, Boris Johnson at the time was thought to become the new Prime Minister. But he got backstabbed. This isn't me defending Boris Johnson in any way. I think he's a slightly crazy lunatic, but aren't we all in some ways? But Michael Gove was supposed to be chairing Boris Johnson's campaign to become the Conservative leader and therefore Prime Minister. But Michael Gove at the last moment decided, actually, I'd quite like to run for Prime Minister, so he did, and Boris Johnson dropped out because of that. But then that meant that everyone in the Conservatives who was a Boris Johnson supporter then hated Michael Gove. So he didn't win, spoiler alert. Initially in the Conservative race, there were 5 candidates, and after the first round of voting, Liam Fox was eliminated, but Stephen Crabb also took himself out of the running because of how few votes he got, and he decided to back the leader of the time, Theresa May. Then the second round of voting went by with just 3 candidates, and Michael Gove was eliminated there and then, because that's what you get for backstabbing someone. And that then left 2 women, quite surprisingly, Andrea Leadsom and Theresa May. But then yesterday, Andrea Leadsom came out and in a statement said that she was standing down. This was quite a surprise yesterday, but quite unsurprisingly is the reason for why she dropped out, and that was because she was pretty much too far behind Theresa May for her to believe that she could actually catch her. Which means that even though we weren't supposed to get the new Conservative leader until September, Theresa May has already won. And in a speech yesterday outside of 10 Downing Street, David Cameron announced that Theresa May will be in Prime Minister's role by Wednesday night. So as of recording this, tomorrow night. He said that he was also backing Theresa May very much to be a good leader, but through a couple of qualities that he totally doesn't have. Whoops. And then thanked everyone, and then as he walked back towards 10 Downing Street, he was caught humming a cheery tune, which was probably him thinking, look at all this money I'm going to get as payout, I can have lots of holidays with that. So Theresa May will go from being the Home Secretary as she is currently to Prime Minister tomorrow, but the Conservatives isn't the only party with some major changes. And I say shake-up, I'm just going to go briefly into 2 of the other parties, which are Labour and UKIP. So for Labour, they are the opposition party, and they had a secret vote of no confidence against their leader, Jeremy Corbyn. And that vote went on an 172 to 40 vote of no confidence. 95% turnout from Labour MPs, and 80% of them said that they had no confidence in their leader. Now for Jeremy Corbyn, obviously, that is really bad. But he has not stood down, but he doesn't currently know whether he's actually going to be in the race for Labour leadership. But there is someone who is actually challenging him for Labour leadership in all of this, and that is Angela Eagle. And then moving on to UKIP, the United Kingdom Independence Party, where their leader, Nigel Farage, stepped down last week. He said that he wanted to get back to normal life and that he had achieved everything that he wanted to. Basically, United Kingdom's vote for Brexit. But UKIP only has one actual MP, that being Douglas Carswell, but today it's come out that he will not be able to run for the leadership of UKIP because they have put a rule in place where you have to have been a part of UKIP for at least 5 years, and Carswell only defected over from the Conservative Party in 2014, so that rules him out. And at the moment, that's about where we are. So when there are more news sections to put into this, I will cover them. But for now, this is about where we're at. And then the other story I want to talk about today is smartphone news and apps. And you probably already know what I'm going to be talking about. Yep, it's Pokemon Go. And for this, it's actually not all bad. If you don't know what Pokemon Go is, firstly, welcome to the internet. Secondly, it is a new smartphone app and game where you download it, and it's basically like playing Pokemon but in real life. Pokemon are put in random places for people to find. They're put in random locations like parks, and even in some houses, which I find a bit strange. And if you have the game, you can go around and try and find these Pokemon and try to capture them, like a normal game of Pokemon. You can also go to training centres, which are random buildings, so people literally stood outside random buildings for minutes at a time training Pokemon. That's not weird. That must be the perfect setup for a burglar. Oh no, it's okay, I'm just playing Pokemon Go, I'm just training my Pokemon. This game has absolutely done brilliantly. It's a free to download app, and pretty much everyone seems to have downloaded it, asterisk, in the countries that it's available in currently. It's seen stocks for Pokemon absolutely fly back up again, and it's like we're in the 1990s/early 2000s again. However, it has brought another strange story to the attention of the news, which involves Australian man Sonny Troon. Now, he is Australian, but he's moved to Singapore as part of his new job as Vice President of 99.co, a Singaporean property portal place. Now, Pokemon Go is available in Australia, however it is not available in Singapore. Also, it's not actually out in the UK yet, but apparently there is a way around it. Something about setting an account to being Australia or America where it is out, so I might try and find a link to something that will actually let you play the game if you're in the UK and don't have it yet and want it. Anyway, back to the story of Mr. Troon. He got rather angry that Singapore doesn't have the game out yet and went on a Facebook rant, because that's how to get out all your frustrations. Facebook, because everyone wants to read about it. He took to Facebook and put, you can guess the word, catch Pokemon in this, you can guess the 2 words, country. To which then that got a reply of, why would you call Singapore a, yeah, you know the 2 words, country? And also, are you living in Singapore? To which Mr. Troon then replied, 'cause it's full of stupid like you, I stated why at the start of the sentence. Then it carries on with another reply of, get out of our country, and that's the polite way of putting it. And then the final statement from Mr. Troon in the Facebook argument was, why? So the average IQ can fall and you feel adequate. Needless to say, 99.co were made aware of this Facebook argument and the initial post, and Mr. Troon was fired. But there are actually conspiracies that Mr. Troon was actually doing this to gain publicity for 99.co because he was only hired a week ago. So he came in, said, I've got an idea, did this, they get more advertising out of it, I guess, because they're looking like a good company for getting rid of this man. I don't know. Now, Mr. Troon has since apologised for the comments he made. But apart from that kind of story, it's actually the overall reaction that Pokemon Go has had. It's got people almost living out their childhood fantasy ideas of being a Pokemon trainer. People are going outside, gamers, who are the stereotypical stay indoors people, are going out and actually meeting groups of different people who are all searching for these Pokemon and almost going around together making friends in a way. And if there is a rare Pokemon somewhere, there's going to be a flock of people going to that place, and all of a sudden you've got hundreds of people in one area all there for the same reason, and that's a good thing. So there you go. Gaming can be good sometimes, and that's the good we're going to take from this. And on that, I'm going to end this video here. Let me know in the comment section down below what your thoughts are on Pokemon Go, and if it's actually out yet in the country you live in. And also, if you're from the UK and you've been keeping a close eye, or you are finding out about all these Parliament changes from this video, let me know in the comment section down below what you make of all of the changes in government over the past 2 weeks. Make sure, whilst you're also down there, to go and hit the like and subscribe buttons on the channel. That would be very much appreciated. And as always, thank you for watching.